1, 2. Can everybody hear me clearly? Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome on board the Millennium Time, the name of the boat that you are travelling on board today. As we leave the piers here in London, we are obliged to provide you with a brief safety announcement. It's nothing to be alarmed about, folks. It's just to familiarise yourself with this boat. This boat, it's licensed and it's capable of carrying 500 passengers. This boat does come fully equipped with life rings, life rafts and life jackets. There are enough life-saving equipment on board for all. Now, the life jackets are situated around the boat, clearly marked with the green and white international sticker. The life rafts are situated on either side of the boats on the roof. Now, in the highly unlikely event of an emergency, folks, we would like you to remain seated, stay calm, and please listen out to announcements given over this PA system. Other than that, folks, you are in safe hands. Just sit back and relax. Enjoy your cruise with us. What we've done for the fallen pilots. As you can see now, we have fully turned around. To the right, we have the London Eye, the Millennium Will, standing at 450 feet tall. It comes equipped with 32 observational pods, each pod representing a borough in Greater London. Each one of them pods, they can carry up to 25 people. If you was to board the Eye today, it will cost you around £20. It would take you at least 30 minutes to do a full rotation on the London Eye. They do say, folks, on a very nice clear day in London, as soon as you reach the top of the London Eye, you can see as far downstream as Paris. But we don't get that many clear days in London, you see, so it's not being proven. I'm only joking, folks. They do say from the top of the Eye you can see 30 miles over London. An amazing view from the London Eye. Now ahead of us, folks, our first bridge we will be going under is the Hungerford Railway Bridge, also known as the Charing Cross Railway Bridge. It services Charing Cross just over to the left, one of the busiest train stations in London. They say there is a train leaving that station every 2 minutes. Now if they're not leaving from the top, they'll be leaving from underground, because we do have the Bakerloo line, goes right underneath us right now, folks, straight into Charing Cross. On either side of this bridge we have these white footbridges. These are called the Golden Jubilee Walkways, built and placed here to celebrate our present Queen's 50th year on the throne, her Golden Jubilee. When we come from beneath the bridge, folks, over to our left on the river wall we have a tall stone needle that is called Cleopatra's Needle. Now that is one of the oldest things you will see in London today, older than London itself. Cleopatra's Needle was built in Egypt over 3,500 years ago. It was awarded to this country's government 200 years ago, awarded to us by a very thankful Egyptian government to celebrate Lord Nelson's victory of Napoleon and the French fleet over the Battle of the River Nile. That is Cleopatra's Needle. The bridge ahead of us now is Waterloo Bridge. Now us Thames watermen, we've nicknamed this bridge the Ladies Bridge. We call this the Ladies Bridge because it was built by a 75% female workforce. It was built throughout the Second World War, where most of the men were away fighting for king and country. So it was down to the ladies to build this bridge. They've done an amazing job, folks. This bridge was built before the deadline, and it's also the longest bridge to cross the River Thames in London, 1/4 of a mile long, Waterloo Bridge. Over to our right now, folks, we have a oddly shaped concrete building with an electronic signboard going around the top. Now many people believe that to be a multi-storey car park. Well, they're all wrong, folks. That building to the right is this country's National Theatre. Inside the building are 3 separate halls: the Cotslow, the Littleton, and the main hall, the Olivier, named after the founder, Sir Laurence Olivier. Very luxury inside the theatre. But on the outside, folks, it's not as pretty. For the past 10 years, the theatre has been described by London's leading architects as being the ugliest building in London. Now to me personally, I think they are wrong. I look at the theatre and think it's more like the ugliest building in the world. Now good old Prince Charles, he commented, he said the theatre looks like the to touch the lions' heads. The police will go to the phone box. They will phone the underground and say to them a very famous rhyme to let them know there's gonna be a flood. They used to say, the lions' mouths are drinking, so London is sinking. That was a very famous rhyme they told the underground to let them know they should close down in fear of a flood. The bridges ahead of us now, we do have a cluster of bridges here. The first one we see is the Blackfriars Road Bridge. The next one is the Blackfriars Railway Bridge. When we come from beneath this first bridge, on either side of us, just between the bridges, you will see red columns. Now these red columns that we will see, they are the remains from the very first railway bridge. The first railway bridge to cross the river reenact many of Shakespeare's finest plays. They're all played out in the traditional manner, and they do dress up in the periodic way. If you are a Shakespeare fan, I would advise it to go over there, folks. Unfortunately, through the winter, some days they close the theatre because of the weather. It's an open-air theatre, open to the elements, so they close it down if there's any bad weather. Now ahead of us, folks, we have Southwark Bridge, said to be London's least used bridge. It's all to do with the bad planning of the approach roads that lead to this bridge. They're very well hidden in the one-way streets and the back streets of London, so nobody seems to find and use this bridge. Now they do say, folks, if you find yourself on top of Southwark Bridge, then you are most probably lost or very, very drunk. The only people that seem to use Southwark Bridge are today's professional drivers, like buses, taxis and cabs. Have a look on top, you will see there's no one on top still. So just goes to say that London doesn't have many professional drivers. Over to the right we have one of the oldest pubs on the banks of the River Thames, the Anchor Tavern, or the Anchor at Bankside. Now parts of that pub have been there for nearly 400 years, built in 1615. It was frequently used by William Shakespeare, Samuel Pepys and Dr. Johnson. A very old pub on the River Thames, the Anchor Tavern. Now folks, ahead of us onto the right, we have a small pirate ship between the buildings. That is the working replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. Drake, he was the first Englishman to circle the world. He circled the world with a crew of 80 sailors. Now, as I said, that is a working replica that has followed Drake's voyage. It's been around the world twice, doing more sea miles than the original. Now permanently moored in the dock to our right, the Golden Hind. The bridge we are approaching is the most historic river crossing to clear the Thames. This is London Bridge, the fourth London bridge in nearly 2,000 years. The first one was built by the Romans. It was made of wood and it burnt down. As many of you should know by the nursery rhyme, the second bridge fell down. The third bridge was sinking, so it was taken down. This is the fourth bridge, opened in 1973, opened by Her Majesty the Queen. To the right now, folks, we do have the tallest building in Western Europe, the Shard of Glass, standing just under 1,100 feet, designed by a famous architect, Renzo Piano. Now the Shard has many things inside. In the middle, it has the 6-star Shangri-La Hotel. In the basement, it has a casino. Throughout other parts of the Shard, it has bars and restaurants. Now on the 73rd floor of the Shard, there is a viewing platform. You can go up there. It will cost you around 25 to 30 pounds, but it's well worth it, folks. From the 73rd floor you can see at least 50 miles across London. That is called the view from the Shard of Glass. Onto the right now we have the HMS Belfast, built in the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Northern Ireland, Belfast. The same shipyard where the ill-fated Titanic was built. The Belfast see her time through the Second World War, helping bomb the beaches of Normandy. The last time she fired her guns in anger, it was during the Korean campaign in the 50s. She's on a permanent mooring now on the River Thames, being used as a museum. You can go on board there for about £5 to £10. The children under 16, they do go free. Now folks, if you was to go on there today, please make sure that you have the time on your hands. It will take you at least 3 hours to circle the whole ship, going from the engine rooms, 9 decks up, to the command rooms. It's a good thing to do though folks. That is the HMS Belfast. Folks, as you can see, we're going to turn the boat shortly, give you a lovely side-on view of the bridge ahead of us, which is Tower Bridge. Now Tower Bridge, it's not as old as it looks. It was built in the Gothic design to blend in with its surroundings, its neighbour, the Tower of London. Now the bridge itself was built by 2 famous men. The architect was Horace Jones. The engineer was Sir John Wolfe Barry. They started construction in 1884. It was then completed and opened in 1896. Many people know that the centre part of the bridge rises. The centre part is called bascules. Now it takes 4 minutes for the bascules to rise to the upright position and let larger vessels through the gates of London. Tower Bridge. Now shortly folks,